With the GoCurrency.com sports ticker, I'm Tim Mulhaupt on the Huskers Radio Network. Happy Wednesday, Huskers fans. This morning, Nebraska football made coordinators available to the media. Take a listen to defensive coordinator Bill Busch as he describes the entire team's buy-in as a part of an answer on how practice scheduling changes have helped the team improve.
Live around here. That's the thing you look for in the football team, which we have on offense, defense, special teams, is our hallways are packed with players all the time. To a certain point, it's kind of like, they get here at roughly 6 o'clock in the morning, and we'll have guys that are here in this building, academics, but up here until they leave at 6:15 to go get their food, and sometimes they'll come back. They just live up here. They're in there, they're always around us, they're asking questions. We'll be in our meetings after this, and they'll be poking their head in on something, on a certain play, whatever's going on. So our kids live up here, and that really helps because, boy, you have to understand the game because the game's complicated. I told you guys last week it was going to be a big boy fight, and that's what it was. It was physical, downhill, smash mouth, quarterback run. Every game's different. It was completely different from Indiana. These guys at Purdue fall somewhere in between, but again, it's completely different. So every week we're kind of rebuilding things from the start of, like, here's what we got this week, whole different thing of what's going on with their skill set.
We'll hear more from both Bill Busch and offensive coordinator Mark Whipple later this hour. Elsewhere in Husker sports, congratulations to Nebraska women's golfer Miu Takahashi, who today was named the Co-Big Ten Women's Golfer of the Week. The sophomore won her first career title with a career-best three-round score of 213, good for 3 under, including a final round score of 69, also good for 3 under. Yesterday at the Dale McNamara Invitational, her performance helped the Huskers to a second-place finish at the Invite. And Nebraska women's golf is now 35-2 in head-to-head competition through the first 3 tournaments this season. Takahashi is the second women's golfer to win the award this fall after freshman Kellyanne Strand was named the Conference Women's Golfer of the Week back on September 15th. In pro sports tonight, in baseball, the divisional round continues for the National League today. Just getting the tarp off are the Atlanta Braves. They're hosting the Philadelphia Phillies. That game has been delayed over 3 hours. They're hoping to get started in a not-too-distant future here, so we'll keep you posted on that one. And then at 7:37, it's a West Coast showdown as the Dodgers play host to the Padres in L.A. The Dodgers lead that series 1-0 after beating San Diego 5-3 last night. And I should mention that the Phillies are also leading the Atlanta Braves in that series 1-0 after a 7-6 win in over Atlanta yesterday. And in the NFL today, Raiders wide receiver Devonte Adams has been charged with a misdemeanor assault after he appeared to shove a media member to the ground as he left the field moments after the Raiders lost to the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. More to come on that story as the NFL weighs supplemental discipline following a further investigation of the incident. This update is presented by Currency. Does your business need help financing big-ticket items like equipment, trucks, and trailers? Currency is here to help. Visit GoCurrency.com for details. That's the ticker. I'm Tim Mulhaupt, and Sports Nightly is next on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Thompson gets a snap, gives it off, or fakes a handoff, throws it over the middle, pass, caught, touchdown, Nebraska. Travis Vokalek comes back to his initial school out of college and gets his first touchdown of the year. And his first touchdown as a Husker. Yes.
Middle tip shot by Becca Alec, not down. Michigan State down 2 at the ball. Roll shots it. Here come the Huskers. Ani Evans chooses middle. Becca Alec, kaboom! 2017 Nebraska.
Casey awaits the snap. Gets it. Play actions. Back to throw. Step throws for the end zone looking for Trey Palmer. He makes a catch. Touchdown! Oh, Nebraska!
Baby! What a throw and catch! Casey Thompson to Trey Palmer in the back of the end zone.
And Moore not down. Now for the match. Kennedy Orr backs that right side. Whitney Lonstein. Kaboom! Woo! Set and match, Big Red.
Simon in the gun. Gets the snap. Steps. Hit as he throws. Down the field. A pass is going to be intercepted. Malcolm Hartsock goes down. And the Huskers are going to win this Friday night battle in Piscataway as Malcolm Hartsock gets the pick.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome to Hump Day. You're halfway to another weekend, a fall weekend coming up. Great to have you with us here tonight for the next 2 hours. We'll keep you entertained, informed, and hopefully get you caught up on all the Husker news of the day. Both coordinators met with the media after practice today, so we're going to hear from both Bill Busch, Mark Whipple, and their thoughts about last week's game, and then also we're going to be able to hear about this matchup with Purdue coming up on Saturday night at 6:30 from Ross-Ade Stadium in West Lafayette. This should be a fun game. The Huskers and the Boilermakers, two of the teams tied at the top of the heap in the Big Ten West race right now, along with Illinois, who's got a big matchup with Minnesota. We're going to hear more about that matchup because we'll have our Big Ten Blitz coming your way in hour number 2. And Jeremiah Sirles will stop by. His weekly podcast coming up in the second hour. We'll see what's on Jeremiah's mind after that game on Saturday night. And we want you to be a part of the program as well. 402-413-2400. That's the number to fire us up with a call or a text here on a Wednesday night of Sports Nightly. Time to tell you to buckle up with the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. This week is going at a much more normal pace. I felt so frazzled last week getting ready for that game on Friday because we had to leave on Thursday.
Yeah, it was it. And just coming off the bye and all of that. I feel like my schedule, I have to ask every day, what day is it? Because we came off the bye week, which went slow, and then we had the home game, but then there was a short week, and then now we're back to a long week. I thought Saturday was Sunday. I didn't feel like Friday was a game day. I'm just I'm still all out of whack. So I need a couple of weeks of a normal Saturday game day, which we have another bye week. But yeah, I've been all out of whack. It is crazy. And the coaches, both Bill Busch and Mark Whipple, talked today about how they feel like the rushed week probably got them out of whack just a little bit. Not that excused some of the things that they did in the game, but it did change some of the, you have to really crunch in your prep time a little bit quicker. You have to squeeze everything down some, and so it does make you rush. Well, because probably the bye week leading into Indiana, there wasn't a whole lot of time. Maybe some teams use the bye week to look a little bit ahead to the opponent following the next opponent, but, they were tweaking some things and making some changes, and so, you had to go all in on Indiana. So then you lose that extra day, and you're still trying to tweak some things and change some things, and so, yeah, it's not ideal for a team in this situation to lose a day of prep. When you have to travel. Yes. Because one day's travel. And a long travel at that. Long travel. 3-hour flight, hour bus ride once you get there, so it is a little crazy. So back to kind of leaving on Friday. This is a much shorter flight this week, and you're right, because of the Friday night game, we had one extra day, and the guys had one extra day to recover and prep and all that. So I think they'll be much more settled in for this game. It's a big game. I know that Mickey Joseph said it's false. It's false that we're tied for first. He goes, that's kind of false news. Well, it is and it isn't. It's still really early in the conference season, but there's only 3 of us at 2-1. We're one of them right now. Yeah, I think because it's going back to that mentality of one game at a time, but it does make things easier to turn around and get ready for another week when you're coming off a win and another win and 2 wins in a row. And so, yeah, I think this team is carrying a lot of confidence over. I think, I was down there today waiting. I did a sit down with Oliver Martin for this week's Cornhusker Conversation, and I was waiting after practice to grab him and just just how they were and, their demeanor and how elated they were and having fun. It was neat to see, and you probably don't always get that if it's not coming off a win. So I think they're enjoying. Probably makes it a lot more fun to go to practice and grind it out. And Oliver broke down today a little bit, went into more detail of those changes that have been made and the tweaks to the schedule. And today was a hard practice day is what I'm getting at. And so for them to come out and be having fun and looking like they're enjoying themselves, I think is a good thing to see. So, yeah, always good when you can find a way to win and then carry that over and you keep moving forward. But this team is not looking back. They don't care that they've won 2 in a row other than, it's a lot of confidence builder, and they don't care what is next because they are so much trying to stay just locked in on Purdue, and that's it. Just Purdue this week. Basketball. Yesterday and today were media days for the Big Ten up in Minneapolis, and I guess that's taken on a life of its own. I guess there was some of the schools weren't happy that they had to travel all the way to Minneapolis. They put it in Minneapolis because they're going to host the women's tournament this week.
this year in March. The men's will be in Chicago, and so they moved media days to where they're, for the first time, going to have the women's tournament. Apparently, some of the schools back east weren't happy that they had to fly all the way to Minneapolis for media days. Husker coaches didn't care. You're going to get on a plane either way. Amy Williams was great. Watched her performance at the big podium today. Fred Hoiberg was fantastic. Fred, of course, played for the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
And they had it in the arena where he played, and he was in the front office for the Timberwolves for a while as well. And he told a great story. Did you hear his story?
I did,
Said,
yeah.
It was great to be back here. Great memories. We played the Sacramento Kings in a Game 7, and between Kevin Garnett and myself, we had 31 points and 11 rebounds. He goes, of course, Kevin had 31 points and 5 rebounds, so I contributed 6 rebounds to the game.
Yes, I heard that story. That's awesome. I think Fred, you can tell he really likes his team. You know, just the way that he's talking about it. I think he's enjoyed coaching them and having fun. And so I didn't get a chance to listen to a lot of the media days. I'm not gonna lie, because I was kind of
You were running.
pretty hooked up today, but I'll go back and listen to some of it. Alexis Markowski looks great.
Fantastic.
I mean, I cannot wait to see how that transitions, how that plays out for her when she gets back on the court, because boy, she has put in the work this offseason leading into this year. So she looks great, and I think that's cool that they have the men's and women's on the same day, and it's together.
They haven't done this before.
Well, and most conferences don't do that either. So I think that was cool that they, probably brings up the hype a little bit more, because there's a lot of attention to the Big Ten men's basketball, because it's, historically one of the best conferences. And
Those are women.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But, I just think, again, just drumming up the interest, it only helps to have both of them together.
You and I are fans of BTN. We think they do, and they did a great job. So this morning they had the big podium where all the coaches came up and had like 7 to 8 minutes or whatever they gave each coach. And then they had breakouts in the afternoon. And so BTN, Jessica, they had 2 sets. They had a men's set where they would bring the coach and the players, and then they would pinball over to the women's set, and they would have a different broadcast group that would talk to coaches and players from that team. And they just went back and forth for the next couple hours. It's really well done.
That's awesome. I love that. And I think because there's still a growing interest in women's basketball, and the ratings are there for Nebraska games, and obviously Iowa or some of these other teams that Fox is going to put on their big network, because they're not going to put it on there if it's not worth their while. But for some of the other programs, again, just continue to grow the interest. The more you can give them the platform, the better. And that's what talking with Megan Kahn at the Big Ten tournament, that's what she said. She's done so many big things and good things for women's basketball since she's been hired, and just making that push of making sure that it's all equal and that you're giving that opportunity for the women's teams to be seen and heard. It only helps drum up the interest and continue to grow the game.
Going to be fun. So we're going to be getting knee-deep in it. The men play a week from Sunday with their exhibition game. The women are 2 weeks from Sunday as they get things cranked up. The men will have 2 exhibition games that don't count to their record. The Shadron State game on the 23rd, and then they fly to Colorado for a charity game, returning a trip that the Buffaloes made here last year for a charity game, and then it'll get going into November for that. So if you watched or caught some of that coverage today, want to talk about that, that's certainly fair game tonight as well. 402-413-2400. Step aside, work a break in, come back with our practice report. We'll hear from both of the coordinators, Bill Busch for the defensive side, Mark Whipple on offense. That's next.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Simon gets the snap, steps, throws, pass is intercepted. Picked off Brandon Moore with the INT at the 32-yard line. That a baby Bam. What a pick. Huskers take over.
Yes! Hey, Huskers fans, tomorrow, join us for Sports Nightly from 6 to 8 p.m. In Hour 1, we'll break down the latest Nebraska football practice report. Then at 7, it's the Nebraska Football Radio Show with head coach Mickey Joseph live to take your calls and texts. Tune into your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
It's time again for some Nebraska farm facts. For Nebraska soybean farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices. And they have significant sustainability goals by 2025. 10% more energy efficiency, 10% less land, and 25% less soil erosion. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
More Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic care first. Studies show that chiropractic is safe, drug-free, and the most effective treatment option for back, neck, and joint pain. It can also help patients of all ages reduce migraines, improve mobility, and maximize athletic performance. Keep the entire family healthy and active with natural, cost-effective chiropractic care. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/touchdownsforteachers.
Preparation is the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pre-game routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down, and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Agriculture is the economic engine of the Midwest. At Acres Equipment, we dedicate ourselves to making that engine run smoothly. We supply our farmers and ranchers with quality John Deere equipment, parts, and service. We also deliver the most advanced technology and precision ag strategies to help them farm today and for the future. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy, from repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Here's to the locals, raised right here in the Western Corn Belt. The strong ones. We help them grow stronger, making world-class genetics research and technology local. The cutting-edge yet common-sense agronomy, the shake-em-up yields. Because we're born and raised here too, and we'll keep raising the bar to ensure you only get the best at Hogemeyer. Raised local, raised right here. Learn more at therightseed.com.
Bank of the West is offering the first checking account designed for climate action. It gives back 1% of the account's net revenue to the planet at no cost to you. Shows you the estimated carbon impact of debit card purchases. And there's no minimum balance required. Learn more at bankofthewest.com/1%. Additional conditions apply. Member FDIC.
Every single day, Central Valley Ag works with our farmers to feed the globe. When you incorporate value-added grains into your operation, you add more dollars and more value to every acre. When you add the MyCVA app, you see just how much more value with every digital scale ticket. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Learn how you can get up to a $5,000 signing bonus with a value-added grain contract at cvacoop.com. Central Valley Ag. the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. We've had a few folks that have want us to move the show occasionally to the training table just to kind of be closer to the food down there. And I think that'd be an interesting idea to do a show from down there.
Hey, at noon, it is lit down there.
Yeah.
It is like crazy down there at noon. You see everybody, every sport, every team. You know, like Coach Ravel was there the other day with her team. I mean, you can just anytime if you go there for between 11:30 and 12:30, you are going to see the who's who of Husker athletics.
You do. Yeah, almost every head coach is rolling through there. It's fun.
Trev Alberts eats down there.
He does eat down there. Yeah,
it's such a cool setup because, you know, again, I came from Oklahoma. They don't have anything like that, and I don't think Oklahoma State doesn't have anything like that. I'm trying to think of any of the other schools that I've been around. It's so neat that they allow that whole, first of all the sports to be in there. I think it builds a neat camaraderie between all the student athletes, but then also the staff gets to come in there and eat too. That's awesome.
And I think that's important for the athletes to see the people that are working to help them.
Yeah.
To, you know, publicize their sports, or everybody has a certain role around here that benefits the student athletes. I think it's good that they put a face to that.
It just, and then it also helps if you're working here, you feel part of something bigger and you feel a part of the family. It's just, the feel of this athletics department. I only can compare it to one other place, but it is just unreal how tight-knit it is, how, you know, you're walking around, and I think that's a big part of it too. I mean, that training table, we've talked how important it is to build those relationships for the athletes, but I think it's just overall this whole athletics department. It's really neat. It's how it brings everybody together.
I think there's a feature in there.
Oh, okay.
A television show or something?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Just wander around,
yeah,
interviewing athletes at the table. Be cool stuff. All right,
we should have the athletes interview the staff.
There you go. There you go. That's it. I think Andrew would be in charge of that. We can put him in charge of that whole thing. Time now for the GoCurrency.com Husker football practice report. Well, we're going to hear from both coordinators. Let's start with Bill Busch on the defensive side. And I just think it's remarkable, the improvement we've seen from that side of the ball the last two games, and particularly what they've done to teams in the second half. They haven't given up any points in the second half to Indiana or Rutgers. Here's Bill Busch talking about that.
You know, I think the biggest thing that we've had some success, and you know, shoot, I just make sure they're on time for the team meal and stuff, and then they've been early for that, so I figure that's always a good sign when we get to the hotel. But kids just been bought into what we're doing. We can communicate very well on the sideline. You know, you don't all of a sudden just create great attitude players. We have great attitude players. They were already here, and they're playing with that level of it right now. So how they handle things on the sideline, halftime they're like this. You know, both half times were a little rough. You know, Indiana, and we played good defense. We gave up 14 points. We had the one on offense, but they'd scored twice right before. So halftime was like, how are we going to fix this? Same thing with this one. It was 13-0. What are we able to get done? We played, you know, solid in the first half after the first drive. Holding to the field goal was huge for us after the block punt. But that's all in the kids. I mean, that's just a bunch of guys being real dudes and stepping up and playing hard. Big eyes, big chests, bright-eyed. And that's all on them. So I'm just so proud of them. It's just so much fun to get a chance to coach them. Our staff loves coaching them. Nebraska should be proud of them for just the way they carry themselves.
He makes it sound kind of simple, but there's a lot more to it. The messaging is getting through. And whatever, if they've cut down the jargon or whatever they've done, it's working. And it's so fun to watch them play right now. And there's a joy that looks like it's back for that defense. I go back to, they played lights out against Indiana for the most part, but you come out, you give up that early first drive touchdown. There was no hanging their heads, there was no doubt, there was no panic, and that was not the case the first few games of the season. You know, after they shut down Oklahoma, they were fired up, but then after that big run from Dylan Gabriel, boy, it was just it was like panic, you know, and it was a couple of the other games, it was the same thing. So the fact that switch to me, that mentality of, hey, we gave up that touchdown, that's all right, we're going to respond from it. That's been a big difference from my perspective being on the sidelines. All right, Bill Busch is, he was special teams coordinator a month ago, now defensive coordinator, and he's also helping in the secondary. He talked about how are you dividing up the coaching duties in that secondary. You got Coach Fisher, obviously he's back there working with the corners and the nickels and that type of thing. Here is what he talks about, trying to, mix and match, and even what's going on with special teams. Here's Bill Busch.
Well, what's really helped is people always get confused and they say the word DB. That's craziness, okay? Because the corners and the safeties, the nickel, they're all different positions. So that's just kind of like being like, well, he's an offensive player, so you can coach the quarterbacks and the running backs. And that's not how it works. They're different positions that do different things. So when we're able to divide things up like that, so I've had them all before, like Coach Fish did, and that's miserable like that. So we were able to divide it up so Coach Fish can have the corners, I can have the nickels and the safeties, and that allows us to build. And then also those three positions also play the other one. So the nickel plays safeties and the safeties can play nickel. So that's how we can have the rotation to it. So that helps us a bunch on just time that you get to be able to get done, because that is really, really hard, because all of a sudden you're talking about press man coverage, you're working on that, and then what are the safeties doing? What's going on? So we felt we've maximized our staff with how we're divided up.
Good explanation there of how they've kind of tried to tweak that in the last couple of weeks, and hey, it's working to this point in time. Another young guy that's working is Malcolm Hartsock, inserted into the starting lineup 2 weeks ago. And then makes the interception to end the game after being picked on earlier in the Friday game against Rutgers last week. Here's Bill Busch talking about Malcolm and his growth, and that he really noticed what he was doing early in the season on special teams.
Yeah, I like that from special teams, because, by about game 2 or 3, it's like, hey, he's our best gunner on the punt team. Let's get him out there. Let's get him out there. So he just his value kept adding himself up. We saw the talent. Sometimes it takes you a while on a true freshman in certain games to be able to jump into that. Then after you got to know his personality better, then it was like, let's get him out and let's let him go play. And very excited about him. And his matchups obviously are huge this weekend with the amount of skill that they have at wide receiver all the way across the board. They got tremendous players.
I don't think anybody inside that locker room or coaching staff is surprised about Malcolm Hartsock. I think we might be from the outside because he wasn't playing as much, but I think he's been showing flashes since he stepped here on campus. And hearing some of the defensive players talking about the coaches have been high on him since he got here, and it's just getting him the opportunity, and he's making the most of it.
Folks, remember, he didn't get here till June. This is a guy who got here in June, wasn't here for spring ball, and now he's starting at corner. And with Quentin going down last week, and we don't know what his status is for Saturday, he's going to play a lot this week. It's going to be a challenge. Purdue's good in the passing game. Yeah,
it's going to be a big matchup to watch.
Jeff Brom is the Purdue head coach and really their offensive coordinator. He runs that offense. That's where his expertise is. He was a terrific college quarterback himself, Louisville graduate, and he's really made a name for himself in the Big Ten Conference with what he's been able to do with Purdue. Here's Bill Busch talking about Coach Brom.
Oh, he's as good as there is. Somebody asked the other day, how good is he? I said, I don't know one better. So he's, I never give someone like the perfect title like that, but never been better. I went against him once when I was at Rutgers. I've known him for a long time. I've sat and visited with him. We're friends kind of from afar, I guess. Not say we're real close, but we know each other. But he does, a magnificent job with how he schemes things up. He has personnel. He has ideas that he wants to be able to get done. Then also he's got a lot of NFL players walking around, so that helps. Like his quarterback's an NFL guy, his tight end's an NFL guy. Charlie Jones is an NFL guy. They got several others that are in the same boat. So they're as talented as a group as that we've seen all year, skill-wise, and especially at the quarterback spot. Gifted. So we got our hands full, that's for sure.
Just to expound on that, he kind of talks more about the scheme that they're going to face from Purdue and a little bit more about Aiden O'Connell, their terrific quarterback.
They've got a lot of movement, a lot of motion, so that they're a mesh route team. They've got every concept they have. That's because the quarterback can throw them. Some people are mesh route throwing teams, and the quarterback doesn't have a real strong arm, so they can try to create confusion to get easy throws. Well, this guy can go, obviously, he can go far hash. throws. He can go big comebacks to the field. He's got big shots down the field. He's got every single throw. So in the NFL, scouts turn the film on. Do you have this? Yes. Do you have this? Yes. So he has everything. So their concepts are that's part of them, but they've got it all. They got all. They got shots down the field. They've got mesh routes. They got every concept that you can imagine. They've got it because the quarterback can do it. That's the reason that they can do it. They have receivers. Most places have receivers that can do it. Do they have the guy, the quarterback, and they have it in that guy. So he's really, really good, and Coach Brom's outstanding.
So there you go, Bill Busch talking about the Purdue offense. Remember, Purdue, they were a handful last year. They beat Nebraska here, 28-23. Good game. O'Connell was great. He just didn't miss many throws, and he doesn't. He's just very, very accurate quarterback. He will be a challenge for the Husker defense on Saturday night. All right, let's switch. Let's go to offense. Mark Whipple also met with the media today, and obviously going to get asked about the offensive line, how to get that group better. That's where this group, if that group doesn't improve, it's hard to see Nebraska scoring a lot of points. If you can't block things up front, it's hard to move the football. Here's Mark Whipple talking about trying to find ways to improve that group.
Well, we did the silent count, and I did a bad job. Could have helped out a little bit more on that, you know. The ironic thing was we only had one sack. But, you know, if you look at stats, that's how misleading it could be. But the second half kind of settled down and did some other stuff that way. And, you know, you go on the road, it's hard to win anywhere, and it's hard to win at home. It's hard to win on the road. And we just didn't have any rhythm. We didn't have any but as I said, the kids showed a lot of resolve, and that was the most important thing. It's, you know, showed a lot of heart and found a way.
You talked about those guys believing. Do you see that O-line still have confidence?
Yeah,
in what they can do?
Everybody knows when you don't play well, and I didn't. I knew as a coach, I didn't play. I coached crappy. We had a bad week. We had our worst week of practice. We only had one day to work hard and get some things. We weren't very good that day, and I carried over. And the positive was, I talked to them Sunday and said, we got to have our best week of practice. You guys learned you can't practice like that and expect to play well. All right, and we've really flipped it this week. Has been the two best days we've had all year, and that's a positive. Now they had a day off, and I think that helped. They weren't really ready for the short week.
I've been asked about him. I was asked about him on a national radio show today about, you know, is this how he always is? It's so refreshing how honest he is, because a lot of times you get coaches get up there and it's a lot of coach speak, but boy, he tells it like it is. I mean, he's a coach crappy.
Yeah.
We had a bad week of practice, and you can't expect to play good if you don't practice good. So I find that so refreshing.
And I think, you know, he's not going to tell us that they had good practices yesterday and today unless they did.
Yeah,
Remember
because he just said they had a crappy practice.
It was one of the practices in August, and it was his day to come out, and he was livid. He's like, we were awful. We were terrible today. And that's when we were all sitting there going, well, the defense, we keep hearing the defense is dominating these practices, and that kind of followed there. He was really honest that day. And so you're right. It's refreshing to hear him talk.
Yeah, and makes you feel a little bit better about, okay, well, they didn't prepare well. And, you know, again, that is going to carry over. And so if you have a good week of preparation, hopefully you can see some adjustments and some improvements on that front.
And, hey, those guys, Piper, Corcoran, Hickson, those are prideful kids.
Yes.
They don't want to play bad. They're not going to the stadium going, we want to play bad tonight. They work hard. They're going to give it their all, and I think they will play better.
Yeah, I think, you know, just building the confidence back up. And I don't think Turner's one that will be one that stays down long. He's a mature enough guy. He knows he's a good football player. He will bounce back from it. It's some of the younger players that you worry about if that confidence is shaken. But there's enough older guys that, you know, they feel like they've played enough football and have done enough, and they love playing together, and that mentality that Coach Raiola has instilled in them. So I think they'll bounce back just fine. They seem fine, again, sitting outside of practice, they seem fine today. So I think, you know, hopefully they'll bounce back from, again, that 24-hour rule. You got to flush it, and you got to be better from it. And I think that hopefully they'll do that.
Jessica, there were 2 fourth down plays in the game Friday night. 4th and 2, and the Huskers ran the ball with Anthony Grant, picked up the first down. That was the opening drive of the second half. Ended up being a touchdown. Then later, Nebraska went for it on 4th and 1, and they went with an empty set, spread everybody out. They tried to throw the ball to Trey Palmer. The ball got knocked down. Of course, that gets asked today of Mark Whipple. Here was his explanation about throwing the football on 4th and 1.
because 4 previous fourth downs we ran it every time, and we missed it on 3rd and 2, and we got to be careful with Anthony. And it was the exact same play that Ohio State had, and we dropped the ball. So that's why. So those are the reasons, you know. So, you know, we've been pretty good. We missed 4th and 2, and we missed 4th and 2 twice against Oklahoma and ran it, and so that was the thought. And we got the look we wanted. I was standing right next to told Mickey if I don't like the look, I'm going to get a timeout. Then we talk about whether we can kick a field goal, what you like that way. But we like the look, and we just didn't execute it.
There's that honesty again.
Yeah, I think they have such faith and confidence in those wide receivers that they thought maybe if they could get a quick enough pass out that it would be something they could execute. And yeah, again, protecting Anthony Grant, that running back depth. Boy, going into the season, we had talked about how deep that room is, but lost a couple of guys due to injury, and yeah, you got to protect that guy because he has carried a lot. He's had a lot of carries these last couple of games. Devil's advocate on that is that's why you have Yant. Yeah, you know that's what's, and I'm sure people in the chat room are going to say that too. That's why you have a 235-pound running back like Yant, is get that 1 yard on that play. Yeah. So, but I also understand you don't want to be predictable, and I did not know that Nebraska in the last 4 times they've had 4th down, they've run it all 4 times. You don't want to be predictable. So, and all of that stuff is out there. I mean, that's what we've been talking about Logan Smothers and wanting him to be out there. Well, he's been standing over on the sideline wearing a hat and the headset. Well, now all of a sudden you want to put him in a helmet, and then people are going to know. You're going to run the ball. Literally everything is on video now. Yes. So it's going to give all of that away. They have all these analysts that break down all. It's crazy some of the work that some of these guys do to make sure you have every single possible piece of information to be prepared. Buckle up, put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. All right, we'll leave you with this one. Mark Whipple talking about Purdue's defense. When you think Purdue, you think about their offense. But they've really become a pretty solid defensive football team. And here's Mark Whipple's assessment of the Boilermakers on that side of the ball.
Veteran group all over the place. Graham's back, who's a really good player, number 6. They got guys up front that can rush the passer and play physical. The back end's veteran. Their corners have been back there. You look down, it's senior, redshirt senior, junior, all the way through. They're not playing any young guys. They're playing at home. They won 3 in a row. They come up and made big plays when they have to, so it's a real challenge for it. It's the best team we've played, I'd say, since Oklahoma, but people, I'd say that Oklahoma played well against us, so it's a huge challenge for us.
So there's Mark Whipple's comments about Purdue. They're 4-2, and folks are about 3 plays away from being 6-0 because they got beat late by Penn State. I was talking to their play-by-play guy today. I didn't know about the end of the Syracuse game. They scored with like 50 seconds to go in the game to take the lead. Jessica, they got 2 personal fouls on the point after try. They had a player pin down a Charger on the attempted block, so then the coach ran out of the field to argue that. So they had to kick off from like the 5-yard line. Wow. So they gave them the ball at the 50 to start that drive. So they ended up losing that game at Syracuse late. And Syracuse undefeated, ranked in the top 20 right now. That is our practice report presented by Currency. Does your business need quick, easy, and secure financing for equipment, trucks, and trailers? All you need is Currency. Visit gocurrency.com for details. All right, lot in there, a lot for you to chew on. Love to hear your thoughts about what you just heard Bill Busch, Mark Whipple say. Phone lines back open for you at 402-413-2400. Back with more of the show next.
Shop Woodhouse Buick GMC first for your next SUV and experience the difference. We offer a full lineup of SUVs so you can find the one that best suits you and your lifestyle. The GMC Terrain and Acadia offer the perfect blend of tech and safety on the road. Or discover the style, comfort, and cargo space of the Buick Enclave. Plus, we make it easy to shop, finance, and purchase in-store or online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. We are professional grade.
There's a call on the field for a quality seed specific to where you farm. Make the right call with Prairie Valley. With local research in 8 regions throughout Nebraska, Prairie Valley performs with their locally specific hybrids and varieties while achieving the highest quality and yield. No matter where you farm in Nebraska, Prairie Valley has the seed for where you are. Find a local dealer and learn more about the seed for where you are at prairievalleyseeds.com.
Let Shelter Insurance get you in the game this football season. The Nebraska Huskers are gearing up for another big year, and this is your chance to win tickets from Shelter Insurance and the Husker Radio Network. Contact a Nebraska Shelter agent, and they'll register you for a chance to win tickets to one of 4 home football games this season. Only Shelter agents can register you, so call, email, or drop by for your chance to win. Find an agent near you at shelterinsurance.com/Huskers and ask them to register you to win.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The thoughtfully redesigned 2023 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. It'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance, more than Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4. The 2023 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Comparison based on competitor information from manufacturer websites as of June 2022. Duteau Subaru in Lincoln and DuteauSubaru.com.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm Student Government President Jake Drake with Campus News. Nebraska has the most technically advanced buildings in the Big Ten, according to an annual review of universities across the country. Nebraska has also saved over $85 million over the past 17 years by making long-term investments in clean, reliable energy sources, cutting-edge automation, and collaborations across campus.
More Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic care first. Studies show that chiropractic is safe, drug-free, and the most effective treatment option for back, neck, and joint pain. It can also help patients of all ages reduce migraines, improve mobility, and maximize athletic performance. Keep the entire family healthy and active with natural, cost-effective chiropractic care. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear gas prices, go take a hike. Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. The Toyota hybrid lineup brings efficiency with power, savings with style, and top-notch tech to keep you connected. Not to mention plush premium interiors and the most advanced Toyota safety features. So, now you know who you're talking to. Toyota, the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. Toyota, the brand with a hybrid or electric vehicle for every driver. Toyota, the brand that helps save you money at the pump. Now, let me ask you a question, dear gas prices. You really think you can stand in the way of the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years? Think again. Toyota Hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
SOS to the rescue. SOS to the rescue.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so hot. The air conditioner is out again. SOS, he screams and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
Beardmore Subaru celebrates Nebraska volleyball again this season. 5 national championships, 47 All-Americans, and a home sellout streak dating back to 2001. The longest streak for any women's sport in NCAA history. Beardmore Subaru has been a proud supporter of Husker volleyball for more than 10 years. Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue has the new Subaru Outback Wilderness, loaded with off-road ready upgrades, and the new Solterra, Subaru's first ever all-electric and all-wheel drive vehicle. Go Big Red.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance. Somebody in the studio sneezed, folks. I'm being polite here, just trying to be being polite. Where was I? Supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Stop it over there. Acres Solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you. 402-413-2400, the number to dot us up with a comment or question or fire off a text. Doug in Norfolk says, maybe you guys announced it yesterday. I couldn't listen, but is it true Damon Benning going to be joining the broadcast crew? Yes, he is. Damon will be in the booth with me on Saturday night. Looking forward to having DB join us on the broadcast for the rest of this season. Let's head up to West Point. Pete, good evening. You're up next on the program.
Good evening. How you doing?
Great, thanks.
You're probably not going to like what I got to say here, but I just don't know why they don't use Logan Smothers and try him a little bit. The perception out there is he doesn't know how to throw a ball. I think if you look at his completion percentages, they're pretty good. Now, he's not a very good deep ball passer, but his passing percent is pretty good within 20, 30 yards. And I'm not saying putting him in right away, but if the rush is coming so much that the quarterback is getting nailed, why not put a little different?
Well, Pete, I think a lot of people share your sentiment, and I don't have the answer. And I was a little surprised maybe that Mark Whipple didn't get asked that today. Now, I will tell you, we do have Coach Joseph on tomorrow night. Our football show is tomorrow night, hour number 2, and Coach Joseph will be in studio for that entire hour. I'm going to ask him that. I'm going to ask, is Logan a possibility? And I'll just say, we got a lot of people out there asking us that question, so I'll relay that over to him.
And I just go back to, he hasn't had a helmet on, and you're going to give away, at this point, he hasn't had a helmet. He's had a headset on and a hat, helping call plays and relay in plays. So at this point, which I guess they maybe give it away anyways. If he has a helmet on, running out there, you give it away what he's going to do. People are going to know what you're using him for. But I think it's hard to probably change up the game plan at this point, but we'll see.
Hey, visit a participating AGCO dealer between now and November the 4th and get yourself entered for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Nebraska-Wisconsin game that'll be in Lincoln. That's our final home game, November 19th. That'll include a pregame tailgate. See participating AGCO locations across Nebraska, and you could be a winner this season. Another text for us. Watching Anthony Grant run and the defense play the way they have since Bill Busch took over has really been fun and a breath of fresh air. I think a lot of Husker fans feel that way. And was there a better moment than Anthony Grant running over that kid on the sideline last week?
Really, the kid got hurt, so we have to be careful. But
He's all right.
Okay, well,
I don't know if he is, but
I thought sitting over there, so I was behind where I couldn't see, but I heard it, and then I saw the reaction from the defense, and then I looked up and saw the replay. I mean, the way that the defense reacted, it was hilarious. Like, I was trying not to laugh because then the kid was down and hurt, but I'm like cracking up. Like, the reactions when that kind of hit happens, and that's what Jeremiah talked about, because he was part of one where he had a teammate get trucked, and the reactions are the best when that happens.
That was quite a hit. Hey, if the Huskers return the first or second half opening kick for a touchdown this season, you could be a winner of a $54,000 credit on a new vehicle from any, and I mean any, Woodhouse Auto family dealership this season. A contestant is chosen every week. To get yourself entered, go to Huskers.com/Woodhouse for official rules and get yourself entered into the contest. 402-413-2400. Back to wrap up hour 1 next.
It's harvest special time, and you can save $3 per foot or $3,900 per quarter-mile system now on a T&L pivot system. Pivots worked long hours this season battling dry weather to save top-dollar corn and soybean crops. But did your pivots work like no other? If not, it's time to invest in a reliable, safe, low-maintenance T&L irrigation system. Hydrostatic drives move these durable workhorses continuously across fields. So get an irrigation system that works as hard as you do. Contact T&L Irrigation, your local T&L dealer, or visit us online at TLIRR.com. T&L Irrigation Systems like no other.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit GoCurrency.com and apply today.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The thoughtfully redesigned 2023 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. It'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance, more than Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4. The 2023 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Comparison based on competitor information from manufacturer websites as of June 2022. Duteau Subaru in Lincoln and DuteauSubaru.com.
The name on the mailbox may say Smith, Myers, Baumgartner, or Johnson, but when you choose to plant with Rob Seco, it includes your name too, making you a stockholder in a company that's invested in you. With the simplicity that makes us easy to do business with, relationships that bring more to the table, the technology, traits, and genetics that take on local conditions, and people with the know-how to use it. At Rob Seco, the only stockholder we listen to is you.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
More Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic care first. Studies show that chiropractic is safe, drug-free, and the most effective treatment option for back, neck, and joint pain. It can also help patients of all ages reduce migraines, improve mobility, and maximize athletic performance. Keep the entire family healthy and active with natural, cost-effective chiropractic care. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
And it's going to be just like the old days, but even better, because now it's old school meets new school. Whoa, did you just dip your pizza in Dorothy Lynch?
Yeah, man, it's amazing. Here, I got extra. Try it with your hot dog.
Oh, wow. Hey, we need another hot dog over here. So as I was saying, it's a whole new game now.
Here we go again.
Rooted in our tradition as a team.
Shake up tradition with the one-of-a-kind flavor that goes with anything, game day or any day. Dorothy Lynch, endless flavorabilities.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. 402-413-2400. Sam at Omaha. How many Husker fans do you expect in West Lafayette? It's about, he says 11-hour drive. I think it's a little, it's probably close. Probably close to that. I don't know. I think probably, I would guess maybe 2,000 fans will be there. And if you are going, our good friends at the Nebraska Alumni Association will be having a free, love that word, pregame party at Purdue for fans, alumni, friends of the program. And it is going to be at 5 o'clock Eastern, so that's 4 Central, so 2.5 hours before kickoff. It is a place called Walk-Ons. We love that, right? Walk-Ons. It's at 101 Grant Street in West Lafayette. Again, it's free, open to the public. Seating is first come, first serve. Food, drinks will be available. You have to buy those, though. Free to get in the door. You have to buy your drinks and food. Pretty good deal. If you want to go hang out with some Husker fans, maybe watch the end of the afternoon games before you go over to the stadium, it's called Walk-Ons, 101 Grant Street in West Lafayette. I told the Alumni Association I would pass that along. Loved having those guys on with us in Ireland. They were having a great time over there on the trip that they were taking over there. The alumni folks.
Oh, yeah. They were having a blast. I think there's going to be a decent crowd there.
Hope so. It's a sellout crowd. They sold this thing out like 2 months ago.
I'm telling you, at Rutgers, I thought the Husker fans were louder than the Rutgers fans.
They were right behind our bench.
They were right behind the bench. The Go Big Red chants were flowing. There was not a lot of hostility behind the bench. And a lot of times that happens where the fans are right up there on the bench, but it wasn't that bad. It was Pro Big Red there.
Very cool.
Hey, buckle up. Put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Sam in Omaha did say, hey, he thinks walk-ons is Drew Brees has some steak in that restaurant in West Lafayette. Drew is one of the great football alums of that program. Our Sports Only Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse. 18 brands, a huge selection of pre-owned. You can always find what you're looking for with Woodhouse. One fast hour in the books. Hour 2 coming up.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Get a Hy-Vee Plus Premium membership for just $99 a year and get fuel savings every time you shop in-store and online. Plus, exclusive deals and offers every month. Plus, free standard delivery and free express pickup. With Hy-Vee Plus, our plus equals more. For a limited time, get $50 off an annual Hy-Vee Plus membership with code SAVEBIG. That's right, get $50 off a Hy-Vee Plus membership with code SAVEBIG.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the black shirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with J-Tech Solar. J-Tech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. J-Tech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
I would say that the reputation of i3 Bank is stellar. It is one of integrity.
Carmen Tapio, President and CEO of North End Teleservices and i3 Bank customer.
It is one of honesty. It is one of following through with what they say that they're going to do, and that is an amazing relationship to have in banking today.
Supporting local Nebraska businesses for nearly 100 years, i3 Bank, intelligent banking. Visit i3.bank to hear more of Carmen's story. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Touchdown, Nebraska!
If you're doing business in Nebraska, the best way to connect your organization with the excitement surrounding the Huskers is through a partnership with Nebraska Athletics. You can take your business to the next level by reaching loyal Husker fans through in-venue signage, digital and social media, radio advertising, and more.
Got it!
Join the Husker team today and email partners@huskers.com to learn more about opportunities to connect with Husker Nation. That's partners@huskers.com.
With the GoCurrency.com sports sticker, I'm Tim Mulhaupt on the Huskers Radio Network. Happy Wednesday, Huskers fans. This morning, Nebraska football made coordinators available to the media. Take a listen to defensive coordinator Bill Busch as he describes the entire team's buy-in as part of his answer on how practice scheduling changes have helped the Huskers improve.
They live around here. That's the thing you look for in the football team, which we have on offense, defense, special teams, is our hallways are packed with players all the time. To a certain point, it's kind of like, they get here at roughly 6 o'clock in the morning, and we'll have guys that are here in this building, academics, but up here until they leave at 6:15 to go get their food, and sometimes they'll come back. They just live up here. They're in there, they're always around us, they're asking questions. We'll be in our meetings after this, and they'll be poking their head in on something, on a certain play, whatever's going on. So our kids live up here, and that really helps because, boy, you have to understand the game because the game's complicated. I told you guys last week it was going to be a big boy fight, and that's what it was. It was physical, downhill, smash mouth, quarterback run. Every game's different. It was completely different from Indiana. These guys at Purdue fall somewhere in between, but again, it's completely different. So every week we're kind of rebuilding things from the start of, like, here's what we got this week, whole different thing of what's going on with their skill set.
Elsewhere in Husker sports, congratulations to Nebraska women's golfer Miu Takahashi, who today was named the Big Ten Women's Golfer of the Week. That's co-Big Ten Women's Golfer of the Week. The sophomore won her first career title with a career-best 3-round score of 213, good for 3 under, including a final round score of 69, also good for 3 under. Yesterday at the Dale McNamara Invitational, her performance helped the Huskers to a second-place finish at the Invite. Nebraska women's golf is now 35-2 in head-to-head competition in the first 3 tournaments of the season. Takahashi is now the second women's golfer to win the award this fall after freshman Kellyanne Strand was named the conference's Women's Golfer of the Week back on September 15th. In pro sports tonight, in baseball, the divisional round continues for the National League today, and the rain delay is over, and there are a few innings in now in Atlanta as the Braves and Phillies are scoreless in that one. The Phillies lead the series 1-0 after winning 7-6 last night in Atlanta. And at 7:37, so in about a half hour's time, it's a West Coast showdown as the Dodgers play host to the Padres in LA. The Dodgers lead that series 1-0 after beating San Diego 5-3 last night. And lastly, in the NFL today, Raiders wide receiver Devonte Adams has been charged with a misdemeanor assault charge after he appeared to shove a media member to the ground as he left the field in the moments following the Raiders' loss to the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. More to come on that story as the NFL is weighing supplemental discipline following a further investigation of the incident. This update is presented by Currency. Currency makes financing quick, easy, and secure for heavy machinery, ag equipment, trucks, trailers, and more. Visit GoCurrency.com for details. That's the ticker. I'm Tim Mulhaupt, and Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is next on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Thompson gets a snap, gives it off, or fakes a handoff, throws it over the middle, pass, caught, touchdown, Nebraska. Travis Vokalek comes back to his initial school out of college and gets his first touchdown of the year. And his first touchdown as a Husker. Yes.
Middle tip shot by Becca Alec, not down. Michigan State down 2 at the ball. Roll shots at. Here come the Huskers. Ani Evans chooses middle. Becca Alec, kaboom! 2017 Nebraska.
Casey awaits the snap. Gets it. Play actions. Back to throw. Step throws for the end zone looking for Trey Palmer. He makes a catch. Touchdown! Oh, Nebraska!
Baby! What a throw and catch! Casey Thompson to Trey Palmer in the back of the end zone.
And more not down. Now for the match. Kennedy Orr backs that right side. Whitney Lonstein. Kaboom! Woo! Set and match, Big Red.
Simon in the gun. Gets the snap. Steps. Hit as he throws. Down the field. A pass is going to be intercepted. Malcolm Hartsock goes down. And the Huskers are going to win this Friday night battle in Piscataway as Malcolm Hartsock gets the pick.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
And we are back, hour number 2, Sports Nightly here on a Wednesday night. Again, a reminder, tomorrow night, it's our football show for the week, and the head coach, Mickey Joseph, will be here in hour number 2 to take your comments, calls, questions. So look forward to that. Put it in your calendar. You do not want to miss that.
tomorrow night. Looking forward to talking to Mickey tomorrow for an entire hour. Coming up this hour, Jeremiah Sirles has another podcast out. We'll get his thoughts, play a snippet of that, about this Husker 2-game winning streak. That, and we'll take a spin around the conference with the Big Ten Blitz. Some really good matchups in the league coming up on a Saturday. Cannot wait for our picks segment on Friday night's show. Buckle up, put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. You and Jeremiah usually record on Mondays. I think it's Mondays. Like you said, my body clock's all out of whack for the last 2 weeks as well, but I think you got it done on Monday.
Yes, we did. And we always go pretty long. We have a pretty lengthy podcast, so this is just a portion of it, but you'll want to go tune in to his breaking down Valentino's Pizza when you guys would have victory vows and how he would just basically throw elbows to everybody else trying to get to the pizza.
we rotated who would go out to see, because
Yeah.
sometimes it's not there. Oh, you're trying to go look. Is it here yet?
Yeah. So he talks about that. And
I would bring some to the boys, but they refused to eat it.
yeah, well,
So.
Val's brought us in fresh pizza this week to celebrate the win.
Hey.
So, but we talked about that. But yeah,
Dessert pizza, too?
yes, we made a special request for dessert pizza.
Andrew.
Anyway, so yes, here is the sideline slice presented by Valentino's Pizza. Defense after that first drive, boy, they locked in. They held Rutgers to field goals. They got the sacks. They got the takeaways. I mean, they did everything that you needed them to do to win that football game.
Yeah, you know, they played a really good bend, don't break defense. You know, I think that they were able to keep everything in front of them, which was big. I mean, shout out to those refs. A lot of OPIs that I tweeted in the middle of halftime. I was like, ref, open your eyes, because both sides were terrible, you know. But I think that we rolled with some adversity, too. You know, some of those calls that didn't go our way, and we could have found ways to tank and let them kind of get momentum. But I thought that we did a really nice job of standing up, getting off the field on third down was something that we talked about and that they did. So, yeah, you know, that defense locks in. Anytime you can hold a team to 13 points, I mean, that's hard to do in any league. I don't care if it's the Big Ten. I don't care if it's the Big 12. You know, whatever it is, you know, you hold a team to a 2-touchdown game, essentially. That's a huge hats off to everyone involved, and especially Bill Busch. You know, I think Bill Busch has done a really nice job, and I'm still waiting. I need one more game before I can start really comparing what's the difference between Bill Busch's defense and everyone else's defense. You know, I've gotten a lot of people that have asked me, like, what's different in the scheme? I don't have a great answer yet. It's something I'm going to look into more this week and start kind of looking, is it different coverage? Is it different schemes? You know, because right now there's definitely a difference. But I also think a lot of it is just that players are winning their one-on-one matchups more than they were at the beginning part of the season.
I think, and this has been something that I talked to Ty Robinson last week about, and a couple of the players that after games, and you just have to take into thought about that there is a lot of new pieces that are figuring out how to play together. And you know, just with the transfers and then players, and you brought this up on the podcast, that when you're in a lot of close games, it's good, but it also doesn't give you a chance to develop some of those younger players. So some of these younger players are getting their first time, you know, thrown to the fire in actual game-like action, which is just so different. And so, you know, Luke Reimer brought it up, a lot of them brought it up, that it was a work in progress for us to play games together, and we're finally starting to click on all three phases of the defense and figuring out how to play together too.
Yeah, and then, I mean, you add on top of that a D coordinator change midway through the first part of the season. You know, I thought that everyone's responded really well to that. You know, I was concerned of how, like, I think Bill Busch can't come in, and he's done a great job not just changing everything, right? You can't do that midseason. I tell it all the time. Football teams don't get fixed in October and November. They get fixed and reworked in January, February. You know, so like seeing Bill Busch come in and just make minor tweaks to things that he saw that maybe we were trying to do that we weren't excelling at, or things that we were excelling at and not doing enough, I think has been a really good job by him. And he's calling a really clean game on the defensive side of the ball.
Also, and you know, I wasn't on the sideline for every game last year, but I've seen more, it seems like there's more communication going on as far as making adjustments in game between Barrett Ruud, Mike Dawson, Bill Busch. And you know, Travis Fisher, they kind of huddle up and talk about what they're seeing, and then they go talk about their guys. So I think they're also tweaking as they go, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and what you have to do, you know, the third quarter has kind of been a nemesis for Nebraska. We come out, I think last year we were outscored almost double in the third quarter last year. And so making those in-game adjustments and having the ability to make the adjustments on the whiteboard, but then carrying it over with no practice and nothing, just saying, hey, here's what we're doing, and then carrying it over when the real bullets are flying, speaks a lot to the growth of this defense. I mean, from the players' perspective. So that's been really good to see, and that's something we're going to have to continue to do as excuse me, as we make a run down the stretch here.
You're taking bites.
I am.
When I come on camera, you take a big bite.
You gotta just...
Okay, let's talk about the offense. And, boy, just not good in the first half. And Mickey Joseph was not shy about telling me that at halftime we got to start making plays. Like, the defense is playing lights out. The offense has got to be better. And so scored when they needed to, but... I mean, got to figure out a way to generate some more points, and which is crazy because, again, it was an offense that was scoring really at will to start the season.
We got to protect the quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, we have weapons on the outside. I mean, you talk about Washington and Palmer and Vokalek and Alante Brown and, I mean, Omar Man. You get the list goes on of weapons that we have at our disposal. But I think Colin Miller even tweeted, he was like, I don't care how many weapons we have if we don't have time to throw it to him. And that's the problem we're having right now. And I love all these O-linemen. I just saw Bryce Benhart out there as I was pulling in today. You know, I love all these guys, but I think they all know they have to play better. You know, this is a physical league. The Big Ten is known for its physicality. It's known for having first, second round draft picks on the D linemen that can get after the quarterback. And, you know, we're going to continue to get challenged up front until we stop it. You know, I think Rutgers blitzed us a lot. They put us in one-on-one situations where they're not only rushing 4, but they're rushing 5, so that everyone's got a one-on-one matchup, and they're just betting that one of their guys is going to win over one of our guys. You know, and so those are things that really have to get cleaned up, because when Casey has time to throw, there is guys open. Yes. You know,
and big things happen.
Yes, and there is big opportunities to push the ball down the field in this offense, you know. But I think Whipple and company have started trying to find ways that they got to dial it back a little bit. They can't push the ball down the field because the ball's got to come out sooner, you know. The slants, the hitches, the curls versus the big deep overs or the go routes. You know, we have to adjust because, like I said, you can't fix it in October. You can play better, and I think that this group will continue to play better as the pieces that are getting mixed and matched are starting to gel a little bit more. But, I mean, you're seeing everyone's getting a shot. Bryce Benhart started the game. Hunter Anthony came into the game. I saw Henley Lutovsky out there. I've seen Ethan Piper. You know, the only two guys that I think played every single snap were Turner Corcoran and Trent Hickson. You know, so they're still trying to figure out what the secret sauce is up front, which is scary to think about in October. But it's the nature of the reality of where we're at the position, because when you have a back like Grant, you want to pound with, but you got to open holes for, and you have weapons like Casey, like all the pieces are there. We just got to really start clicking with that front 5 to make this thing go.
So moving forward to Purdue now and getting an extra day, got one less day last week, but getting an extra day to recover and prepare this week. What have you seen out of Purdue?
Quick passing game. You know, they did it to us last year. They're staying a lot. I mean, O'Connell, when he's healthy, is dealing and wheeling really well right now. You know, they do a great job of, even though it's a quick passing game, they manage the game really well as far as time of possession. The defense, too, has been surprising. You know, you lose a guy like George Karlaftis last year who goes in the first round, and they've really kind of picked up the slack with him. You know, they don't have the emerging #1 draft pick on the edge, but they've been able to create constant pressure defensively. This is the game where, in my opinion, you're going to want to control the clock, and we're going to have to score more than 14 points. You know, I think Purdue has done a really nice job of scoring this year. You know, this is going to be one of those games that you got to get to 30 points, I think, and I think we're very capable of it. But at the same time, that's going to be very dependent on the defense of getting off the field on 3rd down. This team loves to live in 3rd and 5 and short. You know, they do a good job on 1st and 2nd down, whether it's a quick slant, quick hitch, getting themselves in 3rd and manageable, and then converting. You know, so this is something we got to get off the field on 3rd down, and we got to win on 1st down and keep them behind the sticks.
I can't believe I didn't even ask you. How about the hit from Anthony Grant?
Oh my gosh, that dude is dead. I thought that dude, like, I was like, dude, they're gonna have to peel this dude off the turf. He is such a physical finisher. You know, you talk about finishing runs, like that's the clip you put up. Like, you finish the run. You finish it, and I love that out of him. You know, he reminds me a little bit, you know, people might freak out here, but like how Zeke Elliott finished in college is kind of how he likes to finish in college. He doesn't shy away from contact. He initiates the contact.
He loves the physicality.
Loves it. He grows off of it, so you see it as he gets stronger from going into the 1st quarter, the 4th quarter. It's like the hits just charge him up, and then he just unleashes there towards the end of the game.
I wish people could have seen how the defense reacted to that on the sideline. Like, they went nuts.
The reactions to those type of hits are the best. Like, I'll never forget, we were on the flip side of it. Le'Veon Bell We're playing in Michigan State 2012, and Le'Veon Bell absolutely runs clean through P.J. Smith. Like, one of the hardest hits in person I've ever seen, and the whole sideline just like, ball! Like, the reaction to those type of hits are the best things ever.
It fired up the defense, I got to say. But that's what Anthony Grant does, because he can, yes, make some cuts and be a lead and get away, but then he also will run over people
He's
and
the
does
jump
not
cut
care.
king. I love his little jump cut things where he's just bouncing around, and then that's what things people think he's going to jump cut, and then right through their teeth he comes.
You just don't find running backs that do both like that.
No, when you have a special back like that, you hold on to him. I mean, I'm hearing from scouts, he's climbing boards on the NFL side. He's starting to get noticed more. I mean, when you're top 3, top 5 in the Big Ten in rushing, you're going to get noticed.
But I brought him up. That's what made me think of it, is that they got to be able to run the ball better, too, because, you know, as well as they've been running it and he's been running it, it was more of a struggle last week or on Friday against Rutgers.
You have to run the ball in this league, especially the later in the season you get. You know, the bad weather games, the wet ball drill, all those things, you got to rely on your run game. Look at how Michigan beat Ohio State last year, right? Pouring snow, bad weather, field was crappy, and they just grinded it out on the ground. And Ohio State's known for throwing the ball over the yard and doing their thing, and they got out physical. You know, if you can out physical teams, you're going to win a lot of football games. But that goes back to the offensive line having the mentality of, I'm going to out physical anyone who gets put in front of me, because it's the offensive line and the tight ends that lead that running back. Now, he can make special things happen, but there's an added confidence to you as an offensive lineman when you know you have a guy behind you that can take it the distance with just a tiny little hole, you know. So I hope that offensive line realizes you got something really special back there. Like, don't waste it. Don't waste these opportunities. Every run play is a great opportunity to go out there and give your offensive coordinator even more confidence to run the football.
Give me the keys to victory for the Huskers.
Yeah, offensively, you got to score 30. You know, I think this is an offense that can score, so we have to beat them to 30 points. We got to run the ball, control the clock, keep that offense off the field. You know, I want to see us have probably 35 to 37 minutes of possession, which would be really big on offense. And then on defense, you got to win on first down. You got to keep them behind the sticks, keep them in 2nd and 10, and then get off the field on 3rd down. You know, those two things go hand in hand, of keeping them in 3rd and long and winning on first down. But that's going to be really important. And then the last thing is going to be flipping the field position, which we've been good at this year. You know, our punter's been really good at pinning them deep. He struggled a little bit last week. He was hurt.
Badly hurt.
You know, he was hurt. He was hobbling around a little bit. But you got to be able to flip the field and make Purdue go the long way.
Which Timmy Bleekrode is the backup, and he's been a good punter before, so we have depth at the punter position, believe it or not. So we'll see how Timmy does if Brian Buschini cannot go. So players to watch.
You know, players to watch, I think just continue to watch this rotation at offensive line. You know, who starts at right tackle? Is it Ben Hart or is it Anthony? You know, who starts at right guard? Is it Henry Lutovsky? Is it Ethan Piper? And, you know, is Brock Bando still going to start? You know, there's so many moving pieces of, are we starting to see a final 5? You know, I think that's something to watch on offense. On defense, you know, we got to watch the edge guys. O'Shawn Mathis was able to get his column in the sack in the column again this last week. Caleb Tanner, like those type of guys need to show up in this game and not get frustrated. This is a really frustrating team to pass rush against, because you feel like you take 2 steps and the ball's gone. Take 2 steps and you can kind of get in this rhythm, and all of a sudden it's 3rd and 5 and they're taking a deep shot and he's holding it and you're thinking, oh shoot, it's a rhythm pass, and you maybe don't have your best move, and then you kind of get caught flat-footed. You know, just making sure that those Garrett Nelson, Caleb Tanner, and O'Shawn Mathis are able to just keep pushing and just trusting the system, trusting their ability, and eventually it'll get home.
Okay, so I guess diving into that a little bit more, the key matchup that the Huskers have to win.
Ooh, it's going to be these receivers, Purdue's receivers versus our DBs. You know, I think that Rutgers at times was running by us, and at times like there was opportunities. Now Rutgers' quarterback situation is less than ideal. You know, I think Purdue's got a much better quarterback. So these DBs against this quick, how do you stop a quick passing game? You get up in their face and make that quarterback hold it a little bit longer, disrupt the timing, and then those pass rushers can get home. You know, so big matchup's going to be Purdue wide receivers versus this back end for the Black Shirts.
So there is the Sideline Slice, a portion of the latest edition presented by Valentino's Pizza, the official pizza of the Huskers. The full version out now on all of our podcast platforms, wherever you listen, also on YouTube as well.
Great stuff. I do miss the headphones.
The headphones
That he wears when he normally does, because he came into the studio.
Oh, yes, he was in studio because he couldn't miss out on that pizza.
Yeah.
And dessert pizza and all of the above.
He is a Val's guy.
But
who wears the headphones better, Jeremiah or JB? I mean, guys, what do you think? JB?
I think Jeremiah wears it better.
It's a good little debate. All right, hey, Nebraska 811 says, go dig red. Before you dig, always call or click 811 to have your utility lines marked. It's free, it's easy, and it's the law. We're back with the Big Ten Blitz next.
I'm University of Nebraska-Lincoln student Hannah Pham with Campus News. Students from Nebraska's Johnny Carson Center for Emerging Media Arts helped create visual effects for the Star Wars TV series Obi-Wan Kenobi. This opportunity came from a 3-month internship with Lola VFX, a visual effects firm in Los Angeles. This internship transitioned to employment, with Huskers also creating effects for the superhero movie Thor: Love and Thunder.
Here's to the locals, raised right here in the Western Corn Belt. The strong ones. We help them grow stronger, making world-class genetics research and technology local. The cutting-edge yet common-sense agronomy, the shake-em-up yields. Because we're born and raised here too, and we'll keep raising the bar to ensure you only get the best at Hogemeyer. Raised local, raised right here. Learn more at therightseed.com.
Shop Woodhouse Chevy first and experience the difference today. Whether you're looking for a new car, truck, or SUV, we have you covered. Our educated sales team will guide you to the perfect vehicle with features you need to fit your lifestyle, so you can leave our lot feeling confident in your purchase. Plus, we make it easy to shop, finance, and purchase in-store or online at WoodhouseGM.com. Find a trusted auto partner and new roads at Woodhouse Chevy in Missouri Valley, Iowa.
Farmers can make what seems impossible reality with a little hard work and ingenuity. They find solutions to reduce inputs and improve their yield. Valley Irrigation is no different. As the leader in irrigation technology, we deliver results and optimize your operation. Because when you have a vision for the future, you need the people that can make it possible by your side. Expect what's next. Expect what's possible from Valley. Visit us at valleyirrigation.com.
Pass Lexi, middle tip shot. Caitlin Hoard, not this time. Michigan State feeds to the left. Big rip of Leah Moore, not down. Now for the match. Kennedy Orr back set, right side. Whitney Lonstein, kaboom! Woo! Set and match, Big Red.
Hey, Huskers fans, this Friday, join us at 7 p.m. as John Baylor and Lauren Cook West bring you wall-to-wall coverage of Nebraska volleyball's pivotal matchup against Penn State. Tune into your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Agriculture is the economic engine of the Midwest. At Acres Equipment, we dedicate ourselves to making that engine run smoothly. We supply our farmers and ranchers with quality John Deere equipment, parts, and service. We also deliver the most advanced technology and precision ag strategies to help them farm today and for the future. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Bank of the West is offering the first checking account designed for climate action. It gives back 1% of the account's net revenue to the planet at no cost to you. Shows you the estimated carbon impact of debit card purchases. And there's no minimum balance required. Learn more at bankofthewest.com/1%. Additional conditions apply. Member FDIC.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/touchdowns for teachers.
Every day, Central Valley Ag works with our farmers to feed the globe.
CVA's advanced cropping system recommendations help farmers to be efficient and profitable with every acre. Learn more. Register to win up to 160 acres of either grid or zone sampling with professional recommendations, or CVA's precision drone scouting powered by Tyrannus, both valued at over $2,000. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Farmers Mutual of Nebraska is proud to support Husker athletics. Having a confident teammate beside you makes all the difference when it comes to protecting what matters most. With a proven track record of dependable coverage, unmatched financial strength, and a prompt claim service team right here in Nebraska, that's insurance kept local. Visit FMNE.com to contact an agent for a quote today. Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, always alongside you.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Wednesday night, college football season means time for us to take a spin around the conference. We call it the Big Ten Blitz.
Big Ten Blitz. Michigan.
Here to talk about the Wolverines, Angelique Shinganos of the Detroit News. Michigan getting set to host Penn State. Angelique, give me your thoughts about last week's game. It took a while to kind of put Indiana away in that game. Concern at all around the Wolverine camp about that game, or maybe just a thought that they were looking ahead to this week?
I really think that they feel good about the way they came out of halftime. And certainly when Mike Hart, the running backs coach, went down and was carted off the field and taken to the hospital, those were some very shaken players. And watching them on the sideline, I mean, they dropped to their knees. The running backs were crying. Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards had to be consoled. And I think once they heard from him at halftime, they came out, they looked certainly rejuvenated. I thought their game plan was better, and they made some adjustments on defense and held that team to 29 yards. And I think that was the team they expected to be the whole time in Bloomington. And so I think they feel actually like they've got some momentum now going into this Penn State game.
How is Coach Hart doing?
He's fine. I mean, he is home. He has not been in the office. He's been Zooming and participating in staff meetings. Right now they have Fred Jackson. I think he's a familiar name. He was at Michigan. He started in 1992 and has not coached since 2014 at the college level. But he's an analyst this year and has sort of slipped into that role for now. I mean, holding the fort down until Mike Hart is ready to come back.
Oh, that's good to hear. This week, though, it's a top 10 matchup. Penn State coming to town to the Big House. How do you size this thing up? What has Michigan's attention for this one?
Well, I mean, they know that Sean Clifford can be very damaging with his legs, too, and they certainly as a passer. And they've got two young running backs who have caught their attention. And I think Michigan's defense feels very good about that performance in the second half at Indiana. They need to put it together for a whole game, obviously. But, you know, Clifford is a challenge. And I think that they're really licking their chops to have this kind of matchup. They've played some okay teams. Certainly the first three were not so great competition-wise. They came off the road with 2 wins in the Big Ten, and this is going to be a real test to see where this defense really is under Jesse Minter's direction.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it too much to say this is kind of a statement game? The rest of the country, I think, wants to kind of know, is Michigan for real? Are they a playoff caliber team? I think we learn a lot, don't we, on Saturday?
Greg, I think that's the best way to call it. I mean, this is a statement game. It is. You know, you keep asking the players, who are you? And do you have an identity? Because no one's quite putting their finger on what it is. And, you know, offensively, those guys say they want to be physical. They want to run the ball. It's the same old thing. But you don't really get a sense of who they are. And they looked, you know, they came off the road with 2 wins in the Big Ten. So that's significant. But I don't think anyone became more enlightened who this team is, what this team is capable of. J.J. McCarthy, their sophomore quarterback, keeps saying that they haven't scratched the surface on offense, and I'm thinking, well, you're 6 games in, so when are you going to start scratching that surface? And maybe it's Saturday. Maybe they start showing a little bit more from their offense with all those weapons at receiver and with their tight end, Luke Schoonmaker. obviously the running backs. Maybe you see a little bit more finally as they enter the second half of the Big Ten season.
Oh, this is going to be a fun one. Michigan hosting Penn State, Battle of Top Tens, 11 o'clock Central on Big Fox. Angelique Shenganis with the Detroit News. As always, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Big Ten Blitz, Wisconsin.
Here to talk about the Badgers, Ben Worrell. You can follow him on Twitter at the Badger Nation. Wisconsin coming off of a thumping of Northwestern last week. And Ben, I got to imagine the result of the game helped settle everybody down after what had to have been a really wild week for Wisconsin with the change of leadership.
Yeah, I think it was cathartic in a way for this team to get back on the field and put everything that had happened earlier in the week kind of behind them. And, Paul Chryst was a very player-focused coach. And so you heard the emotion from all the players that we spoke to throughout the week about how devastated they were that Chryst was not going to be able to coach them the rest of the year, that it was their fault that he was fired, that they had been underperforming. But they rallied behind Jim Leonard, and I thought you saw that on Saturday with how they played. And certainly the offense was a spark, and I think the defense had a great performance. Their touchdown they allowed was late. I think Northwestern was the perfect opponent for them. Northwestern really had kind of struggled here over the last month since that opener in Dublin, and it allowed them to kind of start putting the pieces back together. I mean, they don't feel like this is a lost season, not by any stretch of the imagination. They still have 6 games to go, and they're at the 3-3 mark. They feel that all their goals are still in front of them, and it's just kind of circling the wagons here and trying to get back to playing the Wisconsin brand of football.
Ben, was there any noticeable changes, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, with this after Coach Chryst walked out or not?
Well, offensive coordinator Bobby Ingram was on the sidelines last week for the first time, and Paul had been such an influencer with the offense, even dating back to his time, a decade ago when he was the offensive coordinator, that Bobby Ingram just never was needed on the sidelines. Now that Paul is gone and Jim Leonard, a defensive-focused coach, is the man in charge, Ingram went down to the sidelines. I thought the players talked about having better communication, being able to go up face-to-face and talk with him about different things they were seeing and different specs and looks. And I don't think anything changed noticeably. Certainly you see 42 points on the board, and something had to be different. But I don't think that Wisconsin all of a sudden reinvented the wheel or did anything that was far, outside the norm. I think they just executed, and they executed at a high level against a defense that really was struggling. I think if Wisconsin would have played a Michigan or Ohio State last week, you're not going to see them put 42 points up on the board, far from it. But it just was a cleaner performance, and that's something that Wisconsin really had struggled with the last handful of weeks.
Okay, let's flip the script to this week. The Badgers are going to play a really struggling Spartan team that's lost their last 4. What do you make of this matchup on Saturday?
Well, Michigan State's got a good offense, over 31 points per game. You mentioned that they've been struggling defensively. They're 10th in points allowed at over 25 per game. So this is another opportunity for Wisconsin to find a rhythm offensively, and that's really one of the main issues this year, right? They just haven't been able to put together a clean offensive performance until last week. Defensively, they've been close, but this will be another critical performance to kind of see, okay, was last week just a one-off that they used the emotions of earlier in the week and really were able to channel that and has that worn off, or is this kind of the step in the right direction? Did Wisconsin hit rock bottom last week again, or 2 weeks ago against Illinois, and now they're starting to take that big step forward? And these are 2 critical weeks for them, at Michigan State and Purdue, and then they have their bye. Can you go into the bye week with a little bit of momentum before that very tough November schedule that includes Iowa, Nebraska, and Minnesota? Minnesota looks like they're the favorites in the West right now, and that's who you end your season with. Can you make that game important at the end of the year? And so Wisconsin doesn't really have any wiggle room left because of how they started the Big Ten play. So this will be a big game for them on both sides of the ball, certainly, to continue moving in the right direction.
Very interesting matchup. Badgers travel to East Lansing to take on the Spartans, 3 o'clock Central on Big Fox. Ben Worrell, again, you can follow him at the Badger Nation on Twitter. Ben, we appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Big Ten Blitz, Minnesota.
And here to talk about the Gophers, Andy Greder of the St. Paul Pioneer Press. Minnesota coming off of a bye week, and you don't like to go into a bye week, Andy, with a loss, but it might have helped the Gophers, right? Have they gotten healthy at all, particularly in that backfield?
Yeah, that was the biggest issue in that Purdue game, is not having All-American candidate Big Ten Running Back of the Year in 2020, Mo Ibrahim. He was out with an ankle injury, and he was able to get healthy enough. It sounds like he's close to 100% and is going to play Saturday against Illinois. That was the biggest issue in that game. They were held to under 50 rushing yards, which was the lowest total that they've had since 2015. And, without him, they struggled. So getting him back against a really tough Illinois rush defense is going to be critical.
These two have had some interesting battles in the last couple of years, haven't they, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, last year the Gophers were a 14-point favorite and lost at home to Illinois, and that really damaged their opportunity to really contend for the Big Ten West championship and the Big Ten West title. That's probably the biggest one. Obviously, in 2018 when they lost at Champaign, that was I think they gave up 55 points in that game and fired the defensive coordinator Rob Smith the next day, and that handed the keys over to Joe Rossi, and he's turned this unit around to be one of the best in the nation over the last couple of years.
Illinois is the home team, they're the ranked team, and they're the underdog. How do you see this thing playing out Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, that's primarily because of the injuries that the Illini have. You know, Tommy DeVito, their starting quarterback, he seems doubtful with an ankle injury. Their number one wide receiver, Isaiah Williams, has a concussion. They've got some defenders out as well, and I think that's when Brett Bielema talked in doubtful terms about those guys not being able to, or maybe not being ready for Saturday. You saw the line move from Gophers -3 to Gophers -6.5. And I think that's probably how it's going to play out. I think the Gophers are a little bit more versatile on offense, and that'll come in handy when you're facing an Illini defense that is really good and an offense that might be more one-dimensional with Chase Brown.
Looks to me, I know they don't totally control their destination. They would need a Purdue loss in here somewhere, but it looks to me like most of the goals for the Gophers, Andy, are still there and attainable for them, aren't they?
I would think so. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be coming down to, maybe a 6-3 type of winner advancing to Indy out of the West. And so I think there's a lot more things out on the table. I don't think Purdue is going to run the table at this point. Obviously, the Gophers really need this game in Illinois on Saturday, because a week from Saturday they go and play at Penn State for the whiteout game that's going to be nationally televised, and they'll be an underdog in that one, and that'll be much more challenging. And that's Purdue's losses to Penn State. So I think it's going to get kind of messy and wild here over these next 5, 6, 7 weeks. And, I think, this game on Saturday for the Gophers is critical.
Should be a good one. Minnesota visits Champaign to take on the 24th-ranked Illini, 11 o'clock Central on BTN. Andy Greeter of the St. Paul Pioneer Press. Andy, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yep, take care.
Big Ten Blitz.
Andy and all of our contributors appear with us on our Sports Nightly Hotline, brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com. Anytime. They have 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned. You can always find what you are looking for with Woodhouse. All right, phone lines, text lines back open for you, 402-413-2400. Jessica will rejoin me next.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we designed the Ford trucks of the future for everyone. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 45 years straight. Made for performance and capability on and off-road. Because the trucks of the future aren't designed for a few. They're built for America. Ford F-Series. Drive one today. Based on 1977 to 2021 calendar year total sales.
Today's play of the day comes from Nebraska. We pick it up with the local sports announcer at a Nebraska lottery retailer.
Dave enters the store. He makes a move to the checkout counter. Looks like he's going to pass. Yes, he's passing the clerk a few dollars. The clerk takes the handoff and spins around. It looks like he's placed the scratch tickets on the counter, and now Dave has them in his hand. It's the old Scratcherooski. He scratches left. He scratches right. Oh, my! He's done it! Dave has scored a bundle of cash.
Play is good. Go play. Odds vary by game.
Whether you compete on the court, at the track, on the field, or in the fields, winning isn't just a goal. It's a mindset, shaped, honed, and defined throughout the season. That's why farmers pushing themselves to be the best plant DeKalb brand corn. Wherever you compete, winning has roots. Perform at your best with DeKalb. Always read and follow grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
While some seed companies put a greater stake in stock prices and anonymous shareholders, Rob Seco knows that what's important to you hits closer to home. That's why you'll find we're focused on your needs. With a simplicity that makes us easy to do business with, a relationship that makes it easy to connect with anyone in the company, and the technology, traits, and genetics you need from any source. Put your stock in the company that puts you first. Rob Seco.
Every single day, Central Valley Ag works with our farmers to feed the globe. When you incorporate value-added grains into your operation, you add more dollars and more value to every acre. When you add the MyCVA app, you see just how much more value with every digital scale ticket. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Learn how you can get up to a $5,000 signing bonus with a value-added grain contract at cvacoop.com. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
To win the game, you gotta have more strength. You gotta be tougher. You gotta be reliable. You gotta want it more than the other guy. And you need a great team you can count on, backing you up the whole time. Whether it's in the field with your Massey Ferguson or on the field with the Huskers, red is the color of getting it done quicker, smarter, and efficiently. So this season, make sure you're checking out the lineup that'll get more done where and when it counts. From your Nebraska Massey Ferguson dealers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
For 46 years, our focus has been our customers at Sid Dillon Buick GMC Cadillac in Fremont. Come see for yourself how easy buying your new car, truck, or SUV at Sid Dillon can be. Stop by our dealership in Fremont to order your new vehicle and shop in-stock and inbound inventory. And if you need a commercial vehicle, we're your GMC Business Elite dealer. Shop at SidDillonBuickGMC.com.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
GMC, we are professional grade.
SOS to the rescue. SOS to the rescue.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so hot. The air conditioner is out again. SOS, he screams and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Dear gas prices, go take a hike. Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. The Toyota hybrid lineup brings efficiency with power, savings with style, and top-notch tech to keep you connected. Not to mention plush premium interiors and the most advanced Toyota safety features. So, now you know who you're talking to. Toyota, the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. Toyota, the brand with a hybrid or electric vehicle for every driver. Toyota, the brand that helps save you money at the pump. Now, let me ask you a question, dear gas prices. You really think you can stand in the way of the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years? Think again. Toyota Hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody, back with you here on a Wednesday night. Thanks to all of our contributors. Some really cool matchups. I think we're going to finally find out how good Michigan is. Penn State will definitely push them. And I'm intrigued with that Minnesota-Illinois game. I mean, those are two teams. Illinois is ranked now all of a sudden.
Yeah, for the first time, since 2011 or something?
Sounds right. It's like 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're the underdogs. The quarterback's hurt, so I don't know. I can't wait for pick'ems on that one.
It hasn't even, their quarterback, there has been no offense being played by Illinois either, really. I mean, it's been all about their defense. Yeah.
And they run the football well.
Yes, yeah. Chase Brown's a good running back.
He is a very good He'll be a good pro. I sent you guys a little funny video, if people haven't seen it, of Kevin Hart, the comedian, kind of doing a picking at the NFL and how they are treating quarterbacks with kid gloves, and he does this whole little skit that is just hilarious. Folks, go out there, search for it on social media. It's really funny. Kevin Hart's my favorite comedians going right now.
Yes, that was hilarious. He's like, give me a pillow and a blanket and put me down easy, put me down easy. So we also just had a fun trivia commercial break.
Yeah, we did.
The entire commercial break.
Andrew got fired up.
Yes, he did. Can you name, you asked us if we could name the 10 Division I basketball programs in Indiana.
Because we're headed there this week with Purdue, and you guys nailed it. Good work. And you found there's an 11th one as a school is transitioning up from D2, right?
Yeah, so there's 11, Southern Indiana.
Southern Indiana, which has been a Division II power in basketball, now making the transition up to Division I. So it'll be 11 in that state. It's not a very big state.
That's wild to think
crazy.
About, yeah.
Back to the quarterback thing. I want your take on Troy Aikman, because he the other night during the Chiefs game, when the second roughing the passer penalty got called on Derek Carr, it was on Chris Jones of the Chiefs, looked like just a straight sack and a strip sack. In fact, he took the football away from Derek Carr. They called roughing the passer on Chris Jones. Troy Aikman, the broadcaster for ESPN, said the NFL's got to look at this in the offseason, and they have to make these plays reviewable, these roughing the passer plays reviewable. They've got to take the dresses off the quarterbacks. And he's catching a lot of heat for that comment.
And he should. And look, I'm not one that's not overly sensitive and cancel Troy Aikman, but we just have to be more mindful of how we say things. I mean, Will Compton is the same way, and love Will Compton, but he put out a tweet about watching that Thursday night football game was like watching a high school girls basketball game. We're not helping change the narrative of this thing, and so, you have this huge platform and a lot of people listening to you, and just to be more mindful about, there's a lot of women doing a lot of good things, and the more you hold us back, that it just is not a good look. And so, Troy Aikman is this big voice and has a huge platform and is one of the major voices of the NFL, and it's just not a good look. And there's a lot of women doing things in the NFL that are working their way up and coaching and reffing. We had a women's referee the other night at Rutgers. Mm-hmm. So, I don't appreciate the comment, and I don't want to fire him or cancel him by any means, but he's got to do better. That's simply put.
Very good. 402-413-2400. That is our Sports Nightly hotline, brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime. They've got 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned. You can always find what you are looking for with Woodhouse. Back to wrap up tonight's show next.
At Nebraska, our people will always be our greatest asset. Day by day, donors give our teams the best opportunity to compete and win through their generous donations. Our vision for the future is ambitious and requires help from those who want to see Husker athletics excel at the highest level. Go big and join thousands of other Huskers Athletic Fund members with your gift today at huskers.com/donate.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit GoCurrency.com and apply today.
Let Shelter Insurance get you in the game this football season. The Nebraska Huskers are gearing up for another big year, and this is your chance to win tickets from Shelter Insurance and the Husker Radio Network. Contact a Nebraska Shelter agent, and they'll register you for a chance to win tickets to one of 4 home football games this season. Only Shelter agents can register you, so call, email, or drop by for your chance to win. Find an agent near you at shelterinsurance.com/Huskers and ask them to register you to win.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Get a Hy-Vee Plus Premium membership for just $99 a year and get fuel savings every time you shop in-store and online. Plus, exclusive deals and offers every month. Plus, free standard delivery and free express pickup. With Hy-Vee Plus, our plus equals more. For a limited time, get $50 off an annual Hy-Vee Plus membership with code SAVEBIG. That's right, get $50 off a Hy-Vee Plus membership with code SAVEBIG.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. 402-413-2400. Just a couple of minutes left in the program. I just was watching the ticker go by on one of the sports channels, and the ACC is having their media days right now, like the Big Ten just wrapped up theirs in Minneapolis. Their commissioner, Jim Phillips, used to be the AD at Northwestern, said today he thinks that we need to look at expanding the NCAA basketball tournament, which right now sits at 68 teams. Yes or no?
I mean, okay, are you going to expand the women's tournament too? Because we just got the women's first 4 added. So
now it goes 64 to 68.
Yeah. So, and you have to keep them equal. So you're going to add women's teams too? I mean, it's too much. It's too much. No, it does not need to happen.
I'm of the mindset that the Power 6 in basketball, so many of those conferences get so many multiple bids. I think you need to at least be a 500 team in your conference to get a bid. If you go 8 and 10, or in the Big Ten, the men play 20. So if you go 9 and 11 or 8 and 12, you should not get in the NCAA tournament. You shouldn't be rewarded for a sub-500 league record.
I also think it's kind of crazy, too, with the March Madness as it is, that a lot of times it's not the best team in basketball that wins the national championship. It's, you can get on a roll. There's so much parity, too, in basketball. And if one player gets hot for one team, you can knock off the number 1 seed. Here in the last few years, we've just seen massive upsets that we just...
But are they really, though? I mean, there's so much parity,
Yeah, but like if you say a 16 and never beat a 1, well, now it's not that far out of the realm for that to happen. And so, I don't know. I mean, it's fun. I love it. It's my favorite time of the year is March Madness, but I think you're going to water it down if you add too many teams.
64, and there's 350-some that play it, and then you have the NIT on top of that, which is another 32. You've got 100 teams making some kind of postseason.
And it should mean something to have to get there. You have to take care of business throughout the season to even get into the tournament. And so if you start adding more, people are going to be getting in for less.
Agree. All right, tomorrow, full show. Football show, hour 2. Mickey Joseph will be in studio for the entire hour. Get your comments, questions ready for him. Friday night, we only have an hour because we have Husker volleyball back home for the first time in 3 weeks. They'll play nationally ranked Penn State at the Vantage Center Friday night at 7:30. Pregame coverage at 7, so an hour coming your way on Friday night. Buckle up, put that phone down. That's a reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Thanks, everyone, for being a part of this one tonight. Great 2 hours. Back to do it all over again tomorrow night. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Simon gets the snap. Steps, throws, pass is intercepted. Picked picked off Brandon Moore with the INT at the 32-yard line. That a baby Bam. What a pick. Huskers take over.
Yes! Hey, Huskers fans, tomorrow, join us for Sports Nightly from 6 to 8 p.m. In Hour 1, we'll break down the latest Nebraska football practice report. Then at 7, it's the Nebraska Football Radio Show with head coach Mickey Joseph live to take your calls and texts. Tune in to your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Farmers Mutual of Nebraska is proud to support Husker athletics. Having a confident teammate beside you makes all the difference when it comes to protecting what matters most. With a proven track record of dependable coverage, unmatched financial strength, and a prompt claim service team right here in Nebraska, that's insurance kept local. Visit FMNE.com to contact an agent for a quote today. Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, always alongside you.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. They are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is proud to sponsor Touchdowns for Teachers and ask Husker fans to nominate outstanding educators who help Nebraska students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/touchdowns-for-teachers.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life.